Hi, I'm Barry Scott.
Alright, so I have another story for you guys today. Like, I have no idea how to intro this. I don't even know what the title of this video. So whatever the title is, it probably took me like a solid 10-20 minutes to think of. But I'm just gonna get into it. So, if any of you are from the UK, you know that like at the end of like your primary school years, so like year 6, you have this shitty little disco. Like a bunch of shitty lights, shitty sense of music, everyone doesn't really know what's going on, they're just sort of there, you know, drinking a little fucking squash, all confined to a little like hall or something. Now originally I didn't even plan to go, but like I think my mum might have forced me to go, because she was like, oh, you'll regret it if you don't. So I just sort of went. So like halfway through this disco, there was like one other room we could go into, and it was like, we had this hall, and it was connected to a classroom by a door, and this classroom went on to like the rest of the school obviously. So everyone was sort of just going in and out of this room when they didn't want to be really awkwardly dancing with their mates because it was just weird, or like standing at the back because that was weird as well. That was usually me, just sort of at the back with my mates. Just, I'm not gonna fucking dance. It's like it's year 6, and I didn't want to be there. So everyone was sort of going off into this room. A couple of people were sort of sneaking out, going around the school, just sort of messing about. And me and my mate ended up following a couple of other people out, and just to like go and mess about. And they start doing this thing, alright? So we had this really tall part of the school. It was probably like 4 stories maybe, and they were on the 3rd story. So they thought it'd be just a really, really good idea to jump off the 3rd story down onto this like hard surface. Actually, it might have been the 2nd story. I don't know, but it was a decent distance, you know. So everyone thought it'd be really funny to just climb over the banister and jump down. Now everyone was sort of doing it fine, but obviously, when you're doing shit like this, when you're in year 6, it's just not going to end well for at least one person. That's exactly what happened. So I'm like, this is fucking stupid, I'm leaving, and I go back with my mate, and we're just chilling, and like, we hear the music turn off, and everyone just sort of like starts mumbling, wondering what's going on, like, you know, the typical like movie sounding shit. And all of the teachers are telling us to stay in the hall and like not go around the school, and we don't know why. And like, there were a couple of teachers like they were in the room, but they aren't anymore. And bear in mind, this is still when a couple of people were still jumping off this thing. So we didn't know where they were, because none of them had like came back at the time. So we're all sitting in the hall, and there was this big window at the side. You could see like the front gate leading onto the road. And we're chilling for like a couple of minutes, and we see an ambulance pull in. So we're like, what the fuck? This like, obviously immediately you'd think like, what the fuck has someone done? And then me and my mate remembered that these fucking idiots were jumping off this thing onto the really hard surface. And we just know one of them fucked up. Now, obviously, it was this little kid. He was like he was really short, and he was really hyperactive, right? And he was a bit of an interesting guy, right? He was slightly oblivious. So all we can see, because this big building where they were jumping, it was surrounded by like loads of glass. It was like a see-through building. We could just see him fucking lying on the ground. He hadn't moved for about 10 minutes at this time. And we didn't know if he was dead or like whatever. Obviously he didn't die because I wasn't making this video, that's just disrespectful. But he was laid on the floor, he got carried out on a stretcher to the ambulance, and there were so many, I think there were like so many ambulances pulling up. There were like 3 or 4 different cars. I don't know why. But this kid was taken away. And obviously the fucking disco carried on as normal. Obviously he didn't come back because he was fucking unconscious from the fall and taken to hospital. I'm pretty sure he might have like really damaged his legs. I don't think he broke them, but he really damaged them. So obviously everyone goes home. It's like the last time we all saw each other, so everyone was emotional and hugging and shit. I just walked off, and I see him like 2 or 3 weeks later. For some reason I'm like walking by his like apartment complex where he lives, and I see him come out in a fucking wheelchair. And let's just give him a name, let's call him Fred. So I'm like, Fred, fuck, I ain't seen you in a while, you alright, mate? And he's like, yeah, mate, just in this wheelchair. I'm like, I don't think it was exactly that, but he basically told me that, you know, the obvious, that he was in a wheelchair. And I'm like, why the fuck did you do that? And do you want to know his fucking reasoning for not bending his legs when he fell? Yeah, mate, I just wanted to give something people to remember me by. Like, I'm sure that wasn't his actual reasoning, but the reason he gave me was just fucking dumb. I was like, yeah, right, mate, and I just sort of walked off with my mum. I don't know, it was so fucking awkward. It was obviously you can't call him out because he's sitting there in a wheelchair, so I just sort of left him, and like, I haven't spoke to him since. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed the story, feel free to leave a like. I don't know why I keep saying that. Subscribe if you're new, I'll see you again in the next video, fuck's sake.